starting now. Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. I want to thank everybody so much for signing up and joining us today during your lunch hour. We're glad to have you for this presentation, How to Become a Certified Woman, Minority, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise or Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Business for Government Contracting. My name is Caleb Talley and I'm the Director of Marketing Events for Startup Junkie. For those of you who are not familiar with Startup Junkie, we're a mission-driven organization that exists to empower innovators and entrepreneurs through education, inspiration, and support for entrepreneurs through no-cost one-on-one consulting, events, workshops, and programs just like this one here today. In normal times, we like to have as many events in person as possible. And of course, that we're in a virtual world now, and we like to try to be as resourceful as possible to a broader audience online. So we're so glad to have you all join us today. Throughout the duration of this presentation, we ask that you keep yourself on mute if possible. If you have a question, please drop it in the chat box. We will keep an eye on all the questions that are coming in the chat box, and then at the end of the presentation, when it's time for Q&A, we will make sure your questions are answered by our presenters. At this point, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Martha Londikin, who is Executive Consultant with the Startup Junkie Foundation. Martha, I'll let you take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm Martha, and I'm coming to you today from our main Startup Junkie headquarters, which is located on the east side of the beautiful historic square in Fayetteville, Arkansas. You can see on the screen now our Startup Junkie website, and I put this up there for you so that you can see this is a resource, startupjunkie.org. Anything we talk about today, programs, if you forget and lose your slides from Max today or Jerry and need to contact anyone today, you can always go here on our screen and go to About and Our Team, and you'll see my face and Caleb's face, our events manager, and be able to contact us. Whenever we talk about different programs in the area, you can click over here on programs. Kiva Northwest Arkansas is a micro lending program that we administer for the Walton Family Foundation for disadvantaged borrowers. So we have many programs here. Part of our mission at the Startup Junkie Foundation, and one of the main areas I work in, is empowering women, minorities, and the disadvantaged to gain access to capital and start businesses, which is a huge goal of the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, which is another partner that helps fund some of our programs you can see listed here at Startup Junkie, along with the Walton Family Foundation. You can always go here to events and click on this, and you will see all the free events that we have 3 and 4 times a week here at the Startup Junkie Foundation for you, for anyone who can come online. And so we're thrilled to be able to still be able, even though we aren't able to have our live in-person events with about 20,000 people a year, we're doing it online. So I also want to welcome you today on behalf of the Small Business Council for that chamber, and Steve Cox, the Economic Development Director, had to get called out to a chamber event this morning. So I welcome you on behalf of the chamber. The Rogers-Lowell Area Chamber is the 2nd largest in the state of Arkansas, and they are huge supporters of entrepreneurs and providing education constantly for our area entrepreneurs, whether you're a chamber member or not. So I want to welcome you on behalf of the Rogers-Lowell Area Chamber. We will have 3 more people speak to you in a minute, and I'm going to help introduce each of them to you. The first person I'm going to ask to screen share and say hello to you is Melanie Berman, and Melanie is the Program Director for PTAC, which is the Procurement Technical Assistance Center for the state of Arkansas. Every state in the United States has a PTAC center, and procurement just means getting something. And so she's going to say hello to you, and I'm going to unscreen share so that she can show you her presentation.
Thank you so much, Martha. I really appreciate it. And so first off, let me see if I can get this started. And I got to change a setting. I have some dual monitors here. So it always takes me just a minute. Thank you for bearing with me. So I am Melanie Berman, and I'm with the Arkansas Procurement Technical Assistance Center, as Martha said. And I just want to tell you a little bit about what we do. There are PTACs, Procurement Technical Assistance Center, all across the US. We're the only statewide program here in Arkansas. Max is in Northwest Arkansas. He's located in Bentonville at Northwest Arkansas Community College. During normal times, we're still working virtually at the moment, but we're available, 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. So give him a call anytime you need some one-on-one counseling. We have these PTACs across the United States, and there may be one in every state, but there also could be multiple ones depending on their setup. For example, California, Ohio, and Texas, they have quite a few regional PTACs located throughout their state. In 2018, and we just got our 2019 numbers, and it's roughly about the same amount, but we helped over 54,000 small business clients attain $26 billion in government contracts. And yes, that's $1 billion. And so that means anything with taxpayer funds, whether it's state, federal, or local contracts, we can help you through that process. And so for every taxpayer dollar that's put into that, that's about $634 return on investment, which as small business owners, you guys know that that's quite a lot. If we have anyone from outside Arkansas, I provided a link here where you can search and to see PTACs throughout the state. So if you don't live in Arkansas, you're not headquartered in Arkansas, you can find the other PTACs there. Excuse me. So this is just for Arkansas PTAC here. We're pretty proud of our clients. We have about 900 active small business clients throughout the state. And those clients last year won over $187 million in government contracts. And that helped create or retain over 3,900 jobs in our state. So we're very, very proud of our small business clients. These are our counselors and our outreach coordinators and support staff for the Arkansas PTAC. And again, as I stated, Max Franks would be your point of contact for Northwest Arkansas. And so what can we do for you? We can provide one-on-one counseling. We can help you interpret government bids. So any government contracts that you see, whether it's with the federal government, state government, or county, we can certainly help walk you through that. We can help explain to you the proposal. We have a bid matching service that we can provide to you if you become a client with the Arkansas PTAC. If getting into a large prime contract isn't something you're quite ready for, we can help also with subcontracting assistance and connect you with those large prime contractors. And of course, we participate in events such as this. Right now everything's being conducted virtually, but typically we do have about 60, 70 in-person events a year. Our focus area, as I stated, local, state, and federal contracts. Max is going to be talking to you a lot about the small set-aside certification programs today, as is Jerry. We have a training coming up on at the end of this month on marketing to the government. And then Max has another training coming up next month on how to search for federal opportunities using beta.sam.gov. So be on the lookout for that. We cannot provide any financial support or grants, so just keep that in mind. We receive our funds from the Department of Defense Logistics Agency, and we have matching funds from the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture, the Cooperative Extension Service. And so that's how we kind of play into the state of Arkansas. We cannot prepare your bid for you. We can't tell you what prices to charge. You guys know your business the best, and so we would defer to you on that. We can't help you sue the government, but we can certainly explain all the processes, as it relates to the federal acquisition regulations or any other federal regulations, state regulations, as it relates to your procurement. And certainly we can't accept gifts or payment because we are state employees. This is what our website looks like. It's UAEX, so that's University of Arkansas Extension, .edu/PTAC. And there you can find everything from our monthly newsletters. They're archived there from a year on, so feel free to peruse those. Sign up if you do not currently receive them. We welcome you to join. You can find all of our staff contact there, and you can find the steps to working in government contracting and all of the trainings that we either are hosting or participating in. So just keep that in mind. Our contact information is there as well. These are the upcoming events that we're hosting in the next month. So we have a marketing to the government course and how to find federal contract opportunities. You can sign up there. They're all free, no charge to you. Your taxpayer dollars have already paid for this service. So just keep that in mind. And here's our contact information here, as I stated before. And then Martha will share this slide presentation with you. It has links throughout. So if you need to get in touch with us, just keep that in mind. Phone number is here, and our website and email is there. And thank you so much, Martha. I'll leave it back to you.
Thank you so much, Melanie. And if you would unshare your screen so that our next speaker will be able to share. So as Melanie said, I want to tell everyone, of course, if you want to take notes, that's great. But after this is over, we will have PDF copies of Melanie's presentation, Max's presentation, and Jerry's presentation, and we will be emailing that to you. We always post all of our online educational content on our Startup Junkie YouTube channel, so it will be available in a few days there for you as well. What I want you to really listen to in all of these presentations is how much these resources are available to you all at free of cost. I recently did a webinar for the Fayetteville Public Library, and my entire webinar was how people can reach out to us at the Startup Junkie Foundation. We are the top of the funnel. We meet with 897 people a year. That was our number that we just got finished with last month in our reporting period. And I gave people information on 18 different resources in Northwest Arkansas and the state of Arkansas to help you for free or at a very low cost. So reach out to us anytime. We are funded by the Walton Family Foundation to provide these resources to connect you with the Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center, which is where I used to work at the University of Arkansas, which is where I first met Max. Max and Jerry, yes, they're the groups they work for, PTAC and the SBA, are based in Little Rock, but they are here for you in Northwest Arkansas. Max's office is in Bentonville. So the SBA team that I'm getting ready to talk to you about, I know everyone there, our state director, Edward Haddock. I know Rick Duda and Herb Lawrence, and I've known them for many years. I know people at all of the ASBTDCs throughout the state of Arkansas, people at the University of Arkansas, the Food Innovation Lab at the University of Arkansas that will help you package your products. So reach out to all of us and take advantage of the incredible resources we have in Northwest Arkansas to help you. Never be scared to ask, and never just reach out to one group. Reach out to everyone. Free information is how you train yourself to be a successful entrepreneur, and you need to talk to as many people as possible. Maybe you don't take everyone's advice, but talk to all of these resources, and I will give you the entire list anytime, free of charge, to help you be a success with your business in Arkansas. The state cares, our region cares, and we want to help you. That's what we all get paid to do, is to help you. So our first speaker today will be Jerry Talbert, and I'm going to read you his bio in just a second, but right after Jerry will be Max. And so you can see Max on the screen. Max is based up here. He is a procurement counselor for the Arkansas PTAC. And yes, they are out of Little Rock, but he covers the Northwest Arkansas region, and they are provided at no cost. I have known Max for 8 years. I can't even count how many clients I have had that he has helped get contracts for tech services, to sell food products to the city or the county or the state, flooring contracts, for landscaping contracts. Max will help you one-on-one. He doesn't just send you his slide deck and say good luck to you. He will meet with you multiple times and help you find contracts. He has over 20 years experience in assisting small business owners with this process successfully throughout the state of Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. He holds a business degree from Missouri Southern State University in Joplin and is one of the most experienced procurement counselors in the multi-state region. All right, so Max will follow up after Jerry. Jerry Talbert is with us. He is one of the newest Arkansas U.S. Small Business Administration team members here to help our Arkansas entrepreneurs. He is the Deputy District Director for the Arkansas U.S. Small Business Administration Office based in Little Rock. He leads the management and delivery of entrepreneurial resources through SBA financial and business development programs, targeting the small business communities in all regions of Arkansas. He's responsible for the management and direction of the staff to educate community leaders and small business owners on how to best access all of the SBA resources. And there are so many SBA resources. There are some that come directly from the SBA, like we've been hearing about the disaster loans. A big part of my experience with the SBA is for 3 years, I was an SBA banker. I made small business loans based with my bank, Legacy National Bank in Springdale. And I constantly was in contact with the SBA team. They don't just help borrowers, they help the bankers to help the borrowers. Jerry is a U.S. Army veteran with many years of government contracting and procurement experience. And this is very important because he's going to talk to you about how veterans and minorities and women, but veterans are a huge part of the mini SBA program, honoring and assisting our wonderful United States veterans. So I'm going to stop talking and let someone who's really important talk. So we'll start with our first speaker, which is Jerry Talbert. And Jerry, if you want to unmute yourself and start sharing your screen.
Thank you very much, Martha, for that wonderful introduction. We'll see if I can get this screen shared. Good. Can you see the presentation?
We see you, Jerry. We see your presentation.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for allowing me the time to speak today. My name is Jerry Talbert, the Deputy District Director for the Arkansas District Office. We cover all requirements for the small businesses throughout the state of Arkansas. I have been here on ground since May 1st. I'm a transplant to Arkansas. I spent a lot of my youth here up in north part of the state, up in Mountain Home. That's very dear to me. So I was pretty excited to get back into this area to support small businesses. Prior to coming here, I was with the DOD out in Aberdeen, Maryland, supporting a very large contract as a small business professional. Since I've been on ground here, we've done a lot in government contracting. We've started out by reaching out to all of our federal entities throughout the state, advocating for all of our SBA socioeconomic disadvantage programs. And it took about a month or two to really get the word out there that we have a change in focus and our motivation, and we have the staff now to be able to contribute to contracting in this state and support our small businesses. Right away, literally within just a few weeks, we started getting offer letters and we started securing contracts. And basically from August 1st through the end of September, we've secured over $8 million in contracts to our 8A program, and that is just amazing. So the train is going down the tracks, and our job is to keep it going in its momentum and to work with our resource partners to help get the word out. So our objectives today is to talk about what is our Small Business Administration primary functions. We're going to talk about our 8A Business Development Program and also our Woman-Owned Small Business Certification, because those are the two primary and most important changes that are going on right now. So the SBA, we work to ignite change, spark actions so small business can confidently start, grow, expand, and also recover. Well, that sounds great, but really, how do we accomplish this? We do this by providing 3 core functions that are essential to the SBA. One, which has kind of already been talked about, we provide capital access. We guarantee loans for small business to help them grow. We also work alongside our community very closely by working alongside our resource partners, chambers of commerce, and other partners to provide free business counseling and training. I talk to businesses every single day, some who are in our program, some who are not in our program. We do our own market research to make sure that they're in solid standing, and if we see something that needs to be tweaked or needs to be corrected, we make those referrals right away to our resource partners, whether it's SBDTC or whether it's PTAC, to get in direct contact with those small businesses to get them ready to be in government contracting. And also we provide contracting support. So what does contracting support entail? Basically, it's a way for us to make sure that the business is mature enough financially and also responsibly enough to be able to participate in government contracting. So there have been some major changes that have been coming our way in regards to the ceiling threshold. So what is the ceiling threshold? The ceiling threshold is basically the maximum amount of a set aside that we can give to a small business. As of today, which is kind of ironic, but it's interesting, as of today, the women-owned small business threshold has increased from $4.5 million to $7 million. Our 8A program has increased from 7 to 7.5 million in manufacturing. All other than manufacturing is increased to 4.5 million. HUBZones, 7 to 7.5 in manufacturing, 4.5 for all other, and our service disabled veteran, 6.5 to 7 million in manufacturing and $4 million. So what this means in a nutshell is if you were able to get a sole source non-compete contract, you cannot exceed, for example, a woman-owned small business, more than $7 million at one time. Now, it is possible to exceed the threshold, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done behind the scenes on our part and the part of the requiring activity to be able to justify exceeding the threshold. But this change is huge for small businesses. So we work along with our federal agencies to ensure that the federal government awards up to 23% of all prime contracting dollars across the country each year to small businesses. We put forward guidance every year to the federal government on what these percentages are gonna look like for everybody. But today we're going to be talking about our 8A and our women-owned small business programs. But our other programs include our HUBZone programs and our service disabled veteran-owned program. And if you want to learn more about those, feel free to reach out to me directly. My contact information is on the last page of this presentation. So what are the requirements for an 8A? An 8A is basically a socioeconomic category that gives all business who meets these specific requirements an advantage to securing government contracts. So the requirements are a small business per the SBA guidelines. Each business working through our resource partners, PTAC and SBDTC, can help you identify and define whether or not you are a small business based upon your NAICS codes. You cannot have already participated in our 8A program. And what's really most important is there's always a question about the percentage of ownership. You must be 51% owned and controlled by a U.S. citizen who is economically and socially disadvantaged. So how do you know if you're economically and socially disadvantaged? You can go, if you look at the bottom of this screen, to certified.sba.gov, and there is a active tutorial they'll ask you a series of Q&A. And at the end of that Q&A, you will be able to understand whether or not you are considered economically and socially disadvantaged even before you try to apply. So I would highly recommend that everybody do that. You cannot be owned by someone whose personal net worth is $750,000 or less. Be owned by someone whose average adjusted gross income for 3 years is $350,000 or less. You can be owned by someone with $6 million or less in assets. You must be able to manage the day-to-day operations and also make long-term decisions. And to define and to provide clarity on how you manage day-to-day operations, there's generally a requirement for you to submit some type of documentation form from the board of directors or your board. Have all its principles, demonstrate good character. So good character is a big step in the 8A requirements. So what does that mean? It means that you must not have any felony convictions. And there's several other criteria that you can find out what that is through the certifysba.gov website. If you're in the 8A program, you may also participate in our All Small Men or Protégé program. This is a 3 to 6 year partnership agreement. Reason it's so varied is traditionally it takes about 3 years of development before you're really considered mature to proceed, and it can be extended for another 3 years, which makes 6 year partnerships. Anytime during this time frame, depending on your business agreement, any party can withdraw. The mentor can withdraw from the program, or the mentor can also withdraw from the program. But basically what this is an agreement between you and a partner that you have selected. And this partner can provide a wide array of different types of benefits to you as a small business. So for example, recently we have completed a mentor protege on a firm that has to do with construction, but they're looking at contractual opportunities that are bigger in scope than what they can handle. So they partnered with a large construction firm to fill the gap, one, in capability, but also this firm, the large firm, has experience in government contracting. So they're going to mentor the small firm on all the contracting requirements, but together as a team, they can compete on small business set-aside contracts, because by law, they're considered a small business. So if, in a sense, you can have a multi-billion-dollar large business as a mentor, but together for government contracting, you would be considered a small business. So that gives you a tremendous advantage in capability and also resources, because those resources are not counted against you. So it's definitely something to look into. So the qualifications of a mentor-protege program is really not all that extensive. First, you may have an agreement. We can send you a draft agreement that you just fill in the blanks. I mean, it's literally that easy. To qualify as a protege, your business must be considered small. You must have a mentor prior to applying for the program, which means that the SBA does not assign you a mentor. You must have identified one on your own. Be organized for a for-profit or as an ag cooperative. Have no more than 2 mentors in the business lifetime, and that is now changing. Now that is changing to where you can have an unlimited amount of mentors, but that change is forthcoming and it's not in the Federal Register as of yet. So to qualify as a mentor, your business must be organized for a profit, have no more than 3 proteges at a time. We must approve the mentor-protege agreement, and we must determine that the mentor must provide assistance that provides real development gains for the protege. So it's not a pay-to-play type of an agreement. There actually must be a mentor relationship, and it must be down in writing and in black and white to where we can easily identify what it is that the small business is going to gain out of the mentor-protege. On the woman-owned small business certification, it is very similar to our 8A program, as it is a disadvantaged program, but it has a different flavor to it. It's designed to take advantage of annual prime contracting goals, build capacity and grow the woman-owned small business, and to get access to set-asides for woman-owned small business and economically disadvantaged small businesses. Those two are very different. When you go to make an application for a woman-owned small business, you can also apply at the same time to be considered economically disadvantaged. So is this program for you? If you have 51% ownership, if you have the highest position within the company, if you have an SBA certified small business NAICS code, if you have management control the daily operations, there's no requirement for it to be in business. Unlike the 8A program, you have to be in a business at least a minimum of 2 years, and you must be profitable to be considered an 8A eligibility. Woman-owned small business is not the case. There's no minimum time requirement. There's also changes coming to the woman-owned small business program as of today. The current self-certification process remains available for firms until the close of business today. So what does that mean? Historically, the only requirement for a woman to be considered certified as a small business, a woman-owned small business, is to self-certify in the National Registry of SAM, which is a database that you go into, you fill out your business profile, and you register as a government contractor. You will self-certify as a woman-owned small business. That was the only legal requirement, but now that has changed. As of today, October 15th, all women-owned small businesses who are going to compete in the federal contracting program set aside for contracts must be certified now. So the law has changed. Traditionally, you would have to be approved by a third-party certifier, which is a expense out of your own pocket that you would have to go through to get the certification. However, part of this change now is that the SBA has realized that that is probably problematic to a lot of small businesses. So we are offering a free service for women-owned small businesses to get certified. You no longer have to pay for that. Small businesses are still able to utilize a third-party certifier at a cost, but it's no longer a requirement because you can now do it for free. This is the timeline of when the new certifications were coming out. Originally, it was posted in May, and then over the course of July, it kind of matured, and now the time is here, October 15th, for you to get your free certification. You will want to visit betacertify.sba.gov. This is actually a snapshot of what the webpage looks like. Please go to there. Down towards the part of the screen, you will see, am I eligible? Please click on that link. It asks you a couple Q&A so you understand whether or not that you're eligible, and then click to get started. It's literally that simple. If you have any questions whatsoever about government contracting, I am available. This is my contact information, and I'm available pretty much 24/7. I know my boss doesn't like to hear me say that, but it's true. I'll talk to businesses at 8 o'clock at night if I have to, just to be out there and to help them along. So that is my presentation. Thank you so much for the time today to talk, and I'm looking forward to talking to businesses in the future.
Thank you so much, Jerry. We so appreciate you. One thing I will say before we let Max get started is, if you are interested in small business, if you own a small business or thinking about one, I highly encourage you to go to SBA.gov. It is one of the most incredible free resources Our government provides this for us. The SBA, as Jerry talked about, is a corporation wholly owned by our U.S. government to encourage our small business owners, to encourage our banks to make these risky loans, which are the small business loans, especially startups, are the riskiest there are. Any topic you are interested in, there is a free resource on SBA.gov for you to review and learn about. And any entrepreneur needs to become a student of small business, of every aspect. And so that is a great resource. Reach out once again to us if you need help through the SBA. I consult as a Startup Junkie consultant a lot with people to help them understand what the business loan process is like. And I do webinars on all the different types of financing options out there because I spent many years working with the SBA. I'm good to help people get ready to have those conversations with bankers. And so that they're not being educated, they can have a conversation. So I highly encourage you to check out the SBA programs and the free resources it provides. So our next speaker will be Max. So Max, remember, works for the state of Arkansas Procurement and Technical Assistance Center. His job is to help you grow your business by getting city, state, county, or federal contracts for income for your business. And he will help you one-on-one with this. Our topic today is about this for women, minorities, and disadvantaged entrepreneurs, because that unfortunately for many decades, these groups were specifically denied contracts simply because they were women or minorities or low income, and sometimes because they were veterans, disabled veterans. And so our country knows that we are stronger and better when we are all given equal access. And this is an incredible program to help lift these businesses. In the state of Arkansas, one of the reasons that we really encourage women-owned businesses is our Governor HUBZone a couple of years ago completely redefined the definition of the minority business program for the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, and you can Google it, to include women as minority business owners. Because currently only 24, 25, it kind of goes back and forth each year, % of small businesses in Arkansas are owned by women. That is unacceptable to our governor. That is unacceptable to our state. If 50% of our population are women, then something systemically has caused them to not either feel empowered or have access to capital to start businesses. So everyone on this call today, every group that we're talking to you about is here to encourage all our citizens to be small business owners. And the SBA is very large and very powerful, and it is here to help you. So Max Franks, if you want to start sharing your presentation, Max will be our last presenter today, and we will take questions at the end of everyone. I don't see any questions for Jerry right now. So just type your questions in the chat, and Caleb and I will monitor those, and Max will answer them at the end, and we'll stay on till as many of them are answered as possible. So Max, take it away.
Thank you, Martha, and thank you to Startup Junkie and the Rogers-Lowell Chamber of Commerce for assisting small businesses for the many years that you've been involved. Today we're going to be talking about government certifications, and I wanted to make sure that everyone could be available at this time frame to do it. Today's presentation is sticking for some reason. Where are we going here? There we go. If you have the typical Zoom share, at the bottom of your screen, there's a link that's called chat. If you click on it, it opens up a border on your right-hand side, and you can ask questions as we go through it, or you can wait till the end and we can discuss your questions then. Zoom is a free way that we counsel day-to-day with people, and it's not always possible to be one-on-one with a person, and we use Zoom a lot. My website, Arkansas Procurement Technical Assistance Center, which Melanie showed so well earlier, shows you many of our free services. All of our past recent seminars like this are turned into YouTube videos. This one here we're talking about, it'll be about 2 weeks before it shows up. But all of these past trainings are available to you as a client of Arkansas Procurement Technical Assistance Center. We also have a special group called Gov'ology that will actually put on special trainings. We give you a special code word so it's no cost to you. In case the need that you have in your business is different than what we're doing that particular month. These are our counselors and Melanie, who leads us on a day-to-day basis. I'll show you this slide at the very end again. So if you have a question, it doesn't necessarily matter where we're located. We're here to take care of you. Why do we need government contracting? Why do we need set-asides? As Martha so eloquently put it a minute ago, it's because the federal government realized that certain segments of our economy were not being served well. So Congress passed laws that's used by all the contracting areas across the United States. And as you can see on the screen that we have there, we have an area for 2018, 2019. The goals for 2019 are the same as for 2020 that we are in now. An average of 23% of all government contracting goes to small businesses. What are we talking about? If you look at the achievement or how the year ended, $132.9 billion were used by the federal government for small businesses, because the average procurement budget of the federal government is over $500 billion a year. And so this is the market that we're talking about. For the 4 subcategories, which Jerry talked about, for example, woman-owned business, the goal is 5%. Last year, they received 5.19%, so they made their goal. For the disadvantage or the 8A program he was talking about, their goal is 5%, and they did 10.29%. Did a great job, but that equaled $51.6 billion. That is the market that we're talking about. The 2 that I'm going to cover more closely is the service disabled veteran owned, which is 3%. And last year they did over 4%. And HUBZone, the geographic location where your business is located, has a goal of 3%. And last year they only did 2.28%. which is down from their goal, but they did $11.4 billion in contracting last year. A small business is defined how? Even in the commercial world, whether you're working with Walmart or someone else, the main company, the head company, may have government contracts, and they have to have what's called a subcontracting plan. And so they need these small businesses also for the large business. But if you're asked, if you're a small business, the government definition is set up by using 2 metrics. The first one is the average number of receipts in your industry. The other is the number of employees in your industry. And we'll show you an example of that in a minute. But to be a small business on the government level, you are required by federal law to register in Systems for Award Management, or better known as SAM.gov. This database does a qualification that shows that you are a small business, and it is acceptable both in the commercial world as well as in the government world. The government realm for small businesses is approximately between $10,000 and $150,000 on a daily basis. I know that Jerry showed you the absolute upper limits that can be applied in certain situations, but on a day-to-day basis, the realm of small business is from $10,000 to $150,000. They are set aside strictly for small businesses, and can be set aside for any of the 4 set aside areas that we're talking about. Between $0 and $10,000, we're going to call the micro purchase, and those are mostly done with credit cards, and they include many areas that it's simply easier for the government to get a good price, to go out and purchase a product, use their government credit card, and get back to the office. Anything over $10,000 up to $25,000 are not advertised by the federal government, but they search for businesses that can provide that service in the SAM database. They call it market research. And then they'll find 3 or 4 or 5 businesses capable of doing that job. They'll send each of them the same bid package, and they will respond accordingly, and the government will pick the best offer and award that to that company. If the bid potential is over $25,000 but under $150,000, it is required to be put on different websites. The main one that is used by the government today is beta.sam.gov. And those set-asides, as Jerry said earlier, can go up to as high as $750,000 in manufacturing, a little bit lower than that in non-manufacturing areas. This is what SAM.gov looks like. And I must warn small businesses that there are many what we call third-party businesses out there that would love for you to let them help you register. You don't need their help, but they will charge you as much as $499 simply to register as a federal government vendor. So what I recommend to most people is in the acronym over here that shows the logo of SAM, look for that red, white, and blue hat with stars on it. That tells a person that you are a federal government website, and it's used by the government, and any company that uses it is breaking a federal law. So we recommend that you understand that SAM makes you a small business if you register and follow the rules, and then you can be used as a federal government vendor. But also, if you're after any of the 4 subcategories, the 8A, the woman-owned, the service-disabled, veteran-owned, or the HUBZone, you have to be registered in SAM first before you can register for any of the other certifications used by the federal government. In SAM, I mentioned earlier that they certify you as a small business. This particular screen is part of SAM for a particular business, and they use 6-digit codes on the left called NAICS codes, North American Industrial Classification System. And in the 4th box over where it says size standard, your company is required to put in your number of employees and your company's annual gross revenue, usually a 5-year average, and it tells the government what size you are. And then the government makes that determination in the far box on the right where it says small business. The Y means that this company meets all those classifications and that they are a small business registered with the federal government. The first small business set aside we're going to look at after Jerry looked at the 8A and the woman-owned is called the HUBZone set aside. HUBZone is an acronym for Historically Underutilized Business Zone. It's been around for several years, and it's set up according to the United States Census figures. And as you all know, we are going through an annual census right now. And in late 2021, the new rules will be out. But currently, right now, to register, if your company qualifications here specifically, okay? The first one that we must have is we must be a small business as certified in SAM.gov. Number 2, we must be owned and controlled at 51% by U.S. citizens. That goes to all of the set-asides that you must have one owner, at least one owner, let me rephrase that, that's 51% or more. The next thing is they talk about where your head office is. The head office is where most people go to work. You can have sub-centers, but the one that they certify is the home office, the principal office, as they like to call it. And at that principal office, 35% of the employees must reside in a HUBZone. It does not have to be the same HUBZone where your office is located. And then this certification at presence is the fastest of all the certifications at this time. It's usually between 8 and 12 weeks. We'll look at the website here in a minute where you go to register. But as I stated earlier, you have to be in SAM or the website will not be able to find you. The next thing that you really need to know about HUBZone is that what are the benefits to your company? Well, first off, if you have to be a small business to be a HUBZone small business. So if there is a small business set aside for just small businesses and you win it, the government gets to count not only your small business status, but if you happen to be a HUBZone, they can count that status also. That's against other small businesses. But if you're in what we call an other than small or large procurement, you get a 10% price evaluation preference. For example, if two companies were bidding on a project and one company bid $100 and it's a large business only, and the HUBZone company bid $110, because of the 10% by price differential, it's considered an even bid. And in 99% of the cases, they would pick the HUBZone so they could count the social and economic impact of having one. The two things that's important to remember about the HUBZone is I have a link here to what's called the General Login System. It is the oldest of all the SBA websites, and it is still used to register all HUBZone companies. But to verify your company location and your employees are located in a HUBZone, I have the map link right below it. And all you have to do is put in addresses. And usually what's off your driver's license address is usually what they prefer. And the only other thing you need to remember about HUBZone that's specific is for them to be considered an employee of the company, they have to work a minimum of 40 hours a month, not 40 hours a week. 40 hours a month makes them an employee of the businesses that are applying for HUBZone. Now, once you apply for HUBZone and you fill out the online application, they require you to send in backup information, hard copy, that they can review to make sure that you're everything you say you are. They give you a checklist, and I've listed some of the links here for corporations, LLCs, and sole proprietorships, where you can go and check mark off all of the information that you need. And there's a specific website you use to upload your documents that's separate from the electronic application. And then once all your information is received by HUBZone, they verify that you sent them everything they require. And then you will be then assigned to a staff member. Once you are assigned to a staff member, the clock starts for them. They want to get you certified or rejected in some cases because you don't have all the qualifications as soon as possible. And as I mentioned earlier, The HUBZone is usually the fastest of all the certifications, between 8 and 12 weeks. After you upload all your documents and to have done the electronic application. Now, the other set of the 4 set-asides that we're talking about today is service, disabled, veteran-owned small business. Now, the difference between service disabled, veteran-owned, and the other 3 is they are certified by a different agency. They are certified by the Veterans Administration, and they have a specific office called the Center for Verification and Evaluation. Currently, the certification in SAM is self-certified if you're working with any other government agency except the Veterans Administration. If you're working for the VA or any of their cemeteries or medical products, you are required to go through this certification. This certification has been streamlined the last 2 years. They're taking people very quickly through it, but it is totally separate from the SBA website. It is on the VA website. Now, what are the qualification requirements for service disabled veteran owned? You must be a small business, which means you must be in SAM. As all the other certifications, a service disabled veteran owned must own 51% and or have more than one veteran that fits that classification. They must run the day-to-day operation and make the long-term decisions for that company. There is no exception to that rule. And they must have a service-connected disability ratings letter from the VA to show what % of disability the VA has given them. Now, the other important thing is that this certification has 2 types. We just spoke about the service disabled veteran owned business. Well, there is also a level down called just veteran owned business. And this one is certified through the same website. You have to do the exact same paperwork, except you're saying that you don't have a disability, but you did serve in one of our military groups, including the National Guard. And the pecking order that the VA uses when it puts out bids is they put out all bids for service disabled veteran owned companies first. If there are none available, it goes to veteran owned companies. And then if there are no veteran owned companies that can meet the criteria, it goes to small business. And if there are no small businesses, they open it up to what we call large. In other words, anyone who's not a small business can then bid on a VA bid. So it's very important that if you are a service disabled veteran owned business and you want to do any type of business with the VA, you must go through this certification at the Veterans website. Now, once you've gone through all of this work, you want to see a government bid. You want to know what your bang for your buck is. Earlier, we mentioned that to be a federal vendor, you had to be registered at SAM.gov. Up here at the top, you see the little hat, but this site is called beta.sam.gov. Last November, this website was called FBO, Federal Business Opportunities, and they moved it over to the new Beta SAM site. And now all government bids over the amount of $25,000 are registered here for you to look at. They are sometimes connected to other websites. For example, there is a group called Reverse Auctions. Just like the title says, the price goes down instead of up. And it's at Unison. It's a third-party company hired by the federal government to do reverse auctions. There's also other websites that it is connected to, like Fed Connect, which is mostly energy companies, but the main bid is on beta.sam.gov. Now, as Melanie pointed out earlier, next month, we're actually teaching a class on how to search beta.sam.gov because some companies have problems finding it. I looked at it this morning just to check it, and it had over 98,000 federal government bids worldwide currently on the site. But you may only be interested in federal government bids in the state of Arkansas, and you need to know how to separate them. That's one of the things we're happy to show you, one-on-one with a counselor, or if you want to come to the class next month, we're very happy to show you so you can find what opportunities are out there, not only for small business, but also certain types of set-asides in small business. Also, we help with other government bids that are state bids. State bids for the state of Arkansas is a very good website. If I can get all of this stuff out of my way here, there it is. The state of Arkansas recently, is in the last 3 months, redid the state of Arkansas website. And they put out bids ever so often, but the difference between the state of Arkansas bids and federal bids is, I mentioned for federal bids to be advertised, there was a threshold of $25,000. In the state of Arkansas, that threshold is $75,000. So for like one of our colleges to advertise a bid, they can put it out there if it's under $75,000 on their own website, or have a third-party company advertise for them. If it's over 75, it can go to the state of Arkansas website. I also have a list here of entities in the state of Arkansas that have their own government website so that you can look at them and see what local bids are out there. Now, there are other places. You will find that some cities and some counties advertise in the daily paper. They usually put them in on the Wednesday paper or the Sunday paper. You will see some counties put them in on the bulletin board and the courthouse in the individual counties. You will see some school districts, which again are state money. School districts have banded together and they have created a third-party billing system called Tips and Taps. And basically they're a website that's used by the state of Texas and the state of Arkansas school districts only to put out bids to get the best prices to spend your tax money. And I want you to understand, this is what your counselors are for, to help you find that marketplace that you can find a niche that possibly commercial contracting will be your daily business, but government contracting can be your cream. It can be out there where you do the same thing you do in the commercial world, but following the rules in the government world. Well, come on, go. There we go. On this slide here, I have the main websites for all the different government certifications. And I just want to talk to you about them for a second. I mentioned that SAM is where you certify as a small business. It's a 3-step procedure. You get what's called a DUNS number. It's called your unique identifier. Then the second step is you register for a user account. For most people, it would be an ID and password. And then the third step is to log in using your user account and register your DUNS number. This is an annual database. And at the end of the first year, if you're happy with government business, you just have to tell the system. If you are interested in another year, If you are, it's automatic. If you let it go inactive, it will sit there for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, if you have not reactivated your company registration, it will erase automatically. And you have to be in SAM to certify on any of these subcategories. The first one is certified.sba.gov. That is where Jerry talked to us about the 8A Business Development Program. That program is good for 9 years. At the end of 9 years, you're automatically graduated and you cannot get back in it. Woman-owned small business website is brand new. It's only been around about 3 months. And it's beta.certify.sba.gov. And as Jerry said, today, October 15th, is when they're really starting to recertify women-owned businesses that have been women-owned businesses, but now have to have the SBA certification. HUBZone, as I mentioned earlier, is on the GLS, General Login System site. It's the oldest of all of the login systems. And you have to go there and then use the map link to verify your company location. But again, if you go in and into any of these certifications, they won't work unless you're in your SAM already. The last one, as I mentioned earlier, is at VetBiz, Center for Verification and Evaluation. It has been around for over 10 years, and the VA uses it exclusively for any project that they have out there. I want to talk for a minute about certifications for state contracts. Same thing as Martha mentioned earlier, our governor several years ago changed and set aside certain businesses for minorities, women-owned business, and the most recent one is service-disabled veteran-owned companies. And this particular slide has to do with the Department of Transportation, the Highway Department in the state of Arkansas. And they have a goal of 1.83%. Now that is kind of low, but you got to remember that this is a state certification program. And they just only use DBEs that are used on the highway program. But the important thing for you to remember is that DBE can be from Louisiana, Oklahoma, Tennessee. If that company is an out-of-state company working on our highways, they count those out-of-state companies DBEs, not Arkansas DBEs. And to be certified as a DBE, there are two groups that does it. The first is obviously the Highway Department, which has the mixture of federal funds and state funds. This is their website, Arkansas DOT. The other one is another area that Martha mentioned earlier, which I was so happy that she did. We have a group in Arkansas called the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. And they do much, much more for the small businesses in Arkansas than just certify them as disadvantaged business enterprises. They help with building capital. They help you grow your business in so many ways. They have great assistance programs, especially in manufacturing. The Arkansas Economic Development Commission has a lot of special things, but they also are the main certifier in Arkansas of minority, women-owned businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned. This process is totally free, and it is done through the state website, which I have linked at the top. Again, I want to reiterate your counselors that are available to you. We have been in Arkansas over 25 years assisting small businesses with every area of government contracting. Certifications are just one small part. We help with daily bid matching, finding government opportunities, registering in SAM, and helping fill out paperwork for many, many of the government contracts that we have available out there. And so while I'm the senior man with the gray hair, Deborah Garcia comes from an economic state background. Tim Hicks comes out of a state contracting background. Betty Lou, it comes out of the Army Corps of Engineers, and she's a contracting person with them for many years and recently retired, and we were lucky enough to get her. And Liz Russell not only comes from a state background, she also has a loan background, which helps many people understand the different areas of state contracting. And so we're here to help you understand all of these rules, regulations, websites, and also problems with websites and government contracting. So whether it's finding you a bid on beta.sam, certifying you in one area, or just teaching you to be a better contractor through many of our free services provided through the Department of Defense, Defense Logistics Agency, Small Business Program, we are here to help you day to day. And I want to thank Startup Junkie for bringing this to you so that you could learn how to do better in your commercial business and grow the economy in the state of Arkansas. Now, as Melanie pointed out very early on, down here at the bottom of my slide is our website, which we can use to contact us. You can use it to register. You can use it to look at our past trainings like we have here and to help grow your small businesses. As Martha stated, we have a good presence in Little Rock where our main office is. And we have our sub-center up here in Bentonville, which led the counties in government contracting this year. Very happy to say. And so if we can be of any assistance to you, give us a call, give us an email, let us put together a Zoom presentation, something like what we did today for one-on-one with you, or let us help you grow your business and see if there is a niche for you in government contracting.
All right, Max. Yeah, Max, thank you so much. I've been scrolling through the chats. I would encourage every single person on this call right now, on this Zoom, if you haven't been looking at the chats, go in there right now and look at them. You can copy them, screenshot them. We've had wonderful participation. Derek Andrews, who's with our SBA office in Arkansas, has been one-on-one answering questions. See, I told you all, these are real people. They really will help you one-on-one. We've unfortunately had a lot of people from other states asking for help also, and so I put some links in there. The SBA is in every state in the United States, in Puerto Rico, in Guam. They will help you. You can just Google and find your local SBA office or a PTAC office in your state. Melanie talked earlier that every state has a Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Now, all of these entities will have different offerings and functions. Also, we talked a little bit, we partner a lot with the Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center. We have 7 of those in Arkansas. Each state has them, and I put the link in there for you to find one. You can just type in your zip code. And then our resources here at the Startup Junkie Foundation, we are very broad. We basically have no requirements other than, do you live in Northwest Arkansas? Can you communicate with us? And do you want to start a business or need help with your business? That's it for us, all right? So the joy of private funding, right? But we will connect you to all and anyone we can to help you. So I'm going to go through some of these questions, Max, that I have not seen answered yet by some of the folks who have been helping out, asking for assistance. I've seen several that Derek Andrews has answered, so I will skip over those because I'm assuming if he answered them, that's his area and he is there to help and ready to go. So that will save us a little bit of time. So I'm going to look through, I'm scrolling through to make sure I don't miss anyone. And Jerry Talbert has answered some questions, so I will leave those to them. Hang on. There is one lady, or gentleman, I'm sorry, I can't tell by the first name, who asked, there's a person who asked, is it better to be listed as a service disabled company veteran or minority female? Which type will yield the most benefit? So Max, why don't you talk about when we have people who are in very different and multiple classifications?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I'm a male. That's the quants.
Oh, okay. Well, you had put it privately, so I didn't know if you wanted me to say your name.
No, I was trying to do it for everyone, but it didn't come through like that.
Right.
But thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for letting us see your face. We appreciate that. Max is going to.
I was eating lunch, so sorry.
That's great. Max will answer your question now, sir.
Thank you.
Question, is there one certification that will give you more advantage than another? Depends on what agency you're working with and what time of the year, okay? The reason I'm saying it that way is if you're working with the VA, the Veterans Administration, being a service disabled veteran owned is what they're required by law to accept at first. So that would be, in that case, an advantage to you. But if you're working with a different government agency and it's just a small business set aside, while your proposal, what you say that you can do for that agency is the most important thing, if you happen to be something that they're low on their goals on, it's a win-win for that agency. And the reason I say that is because this last year you saw where the woman-owned business certification goal was surpassed. And they surpassed it two ways. One, they had set-asides for just women-owned small businesses, okay? But also, if you were a small business who happened to be just woman-owned, you were not doing a set-aside, they got to count you as an extra check mark. And so in that case, it would be an advantage. But in almost all cases, I'm going to tell you that your certification is not the issue that's going to win you a contract by itself. You're going to have to answer that bid solicitation. You're going to have to give them a proposal on how you're going to meet the need of that agency. And then your certification can follow up and help you win that project when they look after that, when they start checking out your company. But your performance that you give is what's going to win you a government contract.
Yes, Max, I think that's something great for people to understand. The point of this wonderful program is to provide the opportunity, but it is always up to you to have sought appropriate guidance and experience and education to make sure your business is at every level doing the best that it can. So that's why we continue with this and encouraging people to meet with resource partners like all the people on this call to make sure your business is the best it can be and that it has the best chance to win those bids based upon the opportunity that is being given to you in the set aside. But it is always up to us at the end of the day as business owners. All right, another question I see is from someone. It says, sometimes the bids on Unison, UNISON, requests you to be a certified distributor of the goods. My question is, most often these goods are available on the market and does not require that certification, does not diminish your capacity to supply. Is that enough for you to understand the question, Max?
Yes. I mentioned Unison earlier. Unison is a special part of a third-party vendor that the government uses for reverse auctions. In other words, you'll bid $10 and someone else will come right underneath you and bid $9.50, okay? But as part of that bidding process, they also have certain paperwork that's required. In this case, they want you to be a distributor for a manufacturer. In other words, they want to know for sure if you win this bid that you're going to be able to supply that product by being an approved distributor. Now, I understand what they're saying, that if a product is out there and it's readily available and that you can supply it, that's good. Don't misunderstand me. But what they're trying to say is they're responsible to a government agency. And so to make sure that their bidding process is fair, open, and the way that's best for them, they are asking you to be a distributor. It is a third-party rule. Since it is not actually the government doing it, the government's paying this group to do it, and so they can apply that requirement. And so all you've got to do is buy the product from the manufacturer, and you can supply it if you want to apply for a reverse auction.
Okay, Max, we have another question from someone asking, is there an upcoming course that shows how to develop a proposal for federal contracts? I know obviously people can reach out to you if they're based in Arkansas for assistance with that. Do you all have a course? Are you doing any other courses, or should they just go to the Arkansas PTAC site to look for events?
Very good. Excellent question. Now, don't misunderstand me. All bids are slightly different. So there is not one template that will fit all bid proposals, okay? But we have done in the past different kind of solicitation proposals for manufacturing, for construction, and for landscaping, for example. We have done online proposals. We haven't done it for a couple of years, maybe even as many as 3 years. We haven't done one. But it is something that's best handled, to be honest with you, one-on-one, so that we can talk about your company. We can talk about what's the requirement of the solicitation is and help you design the proposal that's best for you. One of the things that Melanie said at the very beginning really applies here. We are allowed to help you, but we cannot do it for you. We cannot tell you what price to charge. We can show you what's called a procurement history, what was charged the last time, or what other people are charging today. But we're not allowed to counsel you on pricing. And so when you're building a proposal, price is a big section of it. And we can show you lots of information. We can answer questions on the FAR regulations. But the proposal has to come from you because you know your business better than anybody else.
And Martha, may I add to that? I'd like to say, you know, on occasion, we have had some federal agencies and even some local agencies come to us, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, PTAC, and perhaps they have a large solicitation and they're looking for primes, or they're looking for subcontractors, and so we might host an event. We haven't done that in quite some time, and to be honest, we haven't done that since the pandemic has hit. I'm not quite sure why that is, but you know, typically if it is a large contract, there will be a mandatory site visit. We will bring in contractors who are in that field of industry, and we can talk specifically to that proposal. We have also, you know, worked with the Corps of Engineers. We have worked with the Little Rock Air Force Base, you know, Pine Bluff Arsenal. I'm sure there are several others where we talk to and teach about how to sell to that specific agency. So if that's something that a lot of your clients are interested in, we can certainly look at putting a course together. We would be happy to host that and happy to discuss that. But Max is spot on. They're all different. And so really the one-on-one assistance is where you're going to be able to find the best information there on how to put together a proposal.
Yes, and we've been talking a lot about big contracts and federal a lot. Please don't forget that Max is also available to help you with small cities that are putting out bids for, you know, landscaping and county jails and then the state of Arkansas. So don't forget about those also as we continue. I had someone who probably came in the meeting after we started, and the answer is yes. Melanie, Max, and Jerry are giving me all of their slides. I'm going to convert them to easy PDF documents, and Caleb, our marketing manager, will either late today or first thing tomorrow email out to everyone all of the slides. So thank you for asking that and reminding me to tell everyone who wasn't here right at 12:01. And thank you so much for that reminder. So you will get copies of all of these slides. I'm going to look through and see. There were a couple more questions. Also be checking the chats. I've talked about, I think those are all the general questions that I see. And like I said, if you have specific questions about your certification or a bid for you or anything like that, that's why we did this live on Zoom and didn't just send out a booklet. You can reach out to Max, and you can reach out to Jerry with the SBA. You can reach out to me. Just go to startupjunkie.org. Go to team. My email's always there. There's a Zoom link to make an appointment with me. That's what we're here for, is to connect you to anyone we think that can assist you. Like I said, we do have some of the requirements with Startup Junkie Foundation. We serve Northwest Arkansas entrepreneurs and small business owners. Max covers Northwest Arkansas. PTAC is for the state of Arkansas, and the SBA folks who have come on today are Arkansas, but every state in the United States. We are very, very fortunate to have this resource. So I think, Caleb, do you see any other questions?
DeQuance looks like he has a question.
Okay, DeQuance, do you have a general question for Max?
Yes, this is for anyone listening. I am in a startup process of opening up a after-school program for 3rd through 12th grade. Can you please email me, anybody, any information on how to get resources or anything that you can help with?
Are you
please.
talking about a business or a nonprofit?
We're going to be a social B corporation, where we're going to use our profits to pay for the after-school program.
And where are you located, sir?
In Conway, Arkansas.
In Conway, Arkansas. Okay. Yes, I will send you a resource. We actually, the Startup Junkie Foundation, we have a team in Conway called The Conductor. And so I'm going to pull up your email and send you the link for that. And then also the link, I'm not sure if Little Rock, I think Little Rock would be your closest ASB TDC. And so I'll send you that information, sir. Thank you for asking, and we'll get you connected to some real people to help you, okay?
This has been a big help. Thank you guys, and take care.
Thank you for participating. We appreciate you so much, your time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Caleb, do you see anybody else that I missed? Thank you for noticing that.
I don't see any more, at least not in the chat or video.
Great. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Excuse me, did somebody have a question?
Yes, I was wanting to post a question, but the chat has been disabled.
The chat's been disabled. Okay, well, go ahead and tell us your question, please, and where you're from.
Hi, Shanquetta Cunningham, Jonesboro, Arkansas, and so Northeast Arkansas, and I just wanted to know if your services could be extended to businesses here.
The Startup Junkie Foundation, no, but I personally know the team at the ASB TDC in Jonesboro, and they are incredible. So are you familiar with the ASB TDC there at Arkansas State?
Yes, I've worked with Miss Laura and Mr. Board, but there are some questions that pertaining to this subject matter that I just need other consulting for.
Yeah, well, you can reach out to Melanie at PTAC about government contracting. So even though Max is up here with us, PTAC has people that cover your part of the state. So absolutely reach out. We'll be sending those slides out. So Melanie, I know we've had a lot of people. It's hard to know who everybody is. So just remember Melanie, when you get the slides, she listed all of her contact info. She's in Little Rock. She will find someone in the Jonesboro area to help you. Absolutely. And thank you for speaking up. I'm sorry the chat got disabled for you. Anyone else who wasn't able to get a chat message in that has a question that sending the slides to you later won't connect you or help you with? Okay, Angelina, I see you waving, but you're muted. Can you unclick your mute?
Hi, everybody. My name is Angelina. I'm from Florida, but
Yeah.
I am very interested, and thank you for sharing all that information to you guys and everyone in Arkansas. Thank you. My question is that since I'm in Florida, can I sell products? I'm in the medical field, and I would like to know if I can sell products in Arkansas State, even though I am in Florida.
Sure, I can take that, Martha. And of course, we would still, because you're based in Florida, we would still have you contact the Florida PTAC. But, you know, in the past, we can have our counselors work together if they're not familiar with the state agencies or, you know, hospitals here in Arkansas, and we can kind of assist your counselor to help you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And Angelina, I know also, I administer a program for Kiva International. It's a small business micro program. And we have a Kiva hub manager in Florida, and she operates out of the Florida Women's Business Center, which is located in Delray. So I know,
Great.
yeah, so type into Google Florida Women's Business Center. And I know there's one there because that's where the other lady who does the Kiva loans for the disadvantaged that I work with.
Okay.
And that's a general women's business center. You don't have to need a Kiva loan, but that's also a great product for you, possibly for your business.
Perfect.
So Florida has a women's business center. Then there should be a small business development center near you also. Those are separate. And you want to reach out to both of them. The more the merrier. And then there should be a PTAC office. And I mean, I know it's a lot of work, but it's all free. So take that time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
To help you. Okay, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And Angelina, I know specifically in Florida, the PTAC and the SBDC are co-located. So it should be fairly easy for you to connect with both of them at the same time.
Definitely. I will send you an email, and I appreciate it.
Okay, I'll make the connection. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Caleb, you think we're ready to wrap up? I don't see any more raised hands. Anybody else?
Angelina has her hand. Oh no, that was previously.
She just finished.
Yeah.
I think she's got her hand up, but I think she's finished.
I think we're good.
All right. Well, as always, thank you everyone for attending. You can go anytime to startupjunkie.org and click on the events tab at the top, and it has all the Eventbrites, all our free events. PTAC has a website. They have free events. The SBA in Arkansas has free events multiple times a week. So reach out, learn, and take advantage of all these wonderful programs, because many of them, you know, our foundation is also oftentimes funded. We have programs with the SBA and the PTAC. These are tax dollars, and these are the reasons you're happy you pay taxes in the United States, because you get these wonderful free resources to assist you. So do take advantage of that. And I really appreciate everyone coming on. We put in a lot of work to put this together, and everyone's been great. And if you all didn't come on and watch, it would all be for naught. So we appreciate your time very much. And so we'll sign off. Thank you, everyone.